Let's build some raised garden beds. That's what I told myself. Now I'm here to share my tips and tricks and little hacks on how I accomplish this goal for myself and for my garden. The way I like to go about things is trying to be as resourceful as possible and get as much material as I can for free. First step was to find the main building material that I would be using to make these almost 2 feet deep garden beds. I located a local pallet spot that always has a supply of extra pallets and loose pallet woods on hand in front of their establishment that you can just pull up and pick up for free. Now, one thing I learned very fast was, though I'm getting the material for free, it does come with a workout. So when these moments do present themselves to me and it's time to put a workout in to get something for free, I tell myself it's a free workout. It's just a free workout. As soon as the weather was nice enough for me to be working outside, I got outside and I was working, and I was so excited once I felt spring starting to come and winter slowly drifting away. I could not wait to get outside. I planned out how many pallets that I would need total for each bed by measuring out the dimensions in each bed, and once I had that information, I got to work and started breaking down all of the pallets that I knew that I'd be using and cutting them in half because they were too tall. So once I cut them in half, the height of the half of the pallet is what the height of each garden bed would be. When you are breaking down the pallets, you want to make sure that you are taking out the nails or just making sure nothing is sticking out, and each pallet is nice and flat so that it'd be able to attach to each other easily. Once I had them all cut and ready to go, I laid them out in each location that I knew would fit it best. Once those were all puzzled up and I knew where everything would be going, I got to using the loose wood that I picked up. I cut up all the pieces and started getting to screwing them all together. I used wood screws to screw them all together and attach them all so that each bed would be able to withstand all of the dirt that I would be eventually putting inside of it. When it came to using the screws to screw those in together and where I placed it, I did not make it it's not very by the book. It was very much, we just want to make sure these garden beds are attached together and it's not going to go anywhere. The first bottom layer in the garden beds will be cardboard. And when it comes to sourcing cardboard, I went to a few of my local grocery stores and just asked the people if they could set aside some cardboard for me. And when you are sourcing cardboard from any stores, you want to make sure that no chemicals have been inside of the cardboard. And when you are placing the cardboard down in your garden, you want to make sure to remove all of the plastic, all of the tape from each piece of cardboard before it's laid down. You don't want those microplastics breaking down into your soil. I puzzled each piece of cardboard together at the bottom of each garden bed to try and block all the weeds from growing in, though I know some weeds are going to get in. I already know. But hey, it's worth a shot. It's worth blocking all that out and also blocking out the critters. I don't know, they might be able to rip through the cardboard, but hopefully we can block out all the critters, the gophers and the groundhogs and stuff. I realized next that I needed to create a barrier from the soil and the inside of the garden beds, the wood that would be touching the soil. I wanted to prolong the lifespan of these garden beds for as long as possible. I know they are not going to last for forever because it is wood. So I tried 2 different methods when it came to protecting the inside of the garden beds. For half of the garden beds, the first 3, I used boiled linseed oil. That is a environmentally friendly oil, non-toxic, no chemical oil that you can use to protect wood. And I use that on pretty much everything in my home. And it is also supposed to act as a barrier between the wood and the soil. So we shall see. We shall see how that turns out. We're going to see. I used a paint roller to apply the boiled linseed oil to the inside of half of the garden beds. And for the other half of the garden beds, I found a weed block barrier fabric for around $10. And with that, I also used my nail gun and just stapled that to the inside of the wood to act as a barrier between the soil and the wood. So I feel as though that option is what's going to hold up the best, but I know that that kind of stuff does break down pretty easily, especially after the first season. So as these years go on, we shall see. This step is the next layer after the cardboard, which will be logs of wood. And what I decided to do was meander through my woods, explore a little bit, and find pieces of already decomposing wood that I could use to puzzle into the bottom of the garden beds. That took a lot of work and many days, but I did get it done, and all of the beds were eventually full at the bottom with already decomposing wood. I made sure to fill up as much space as possible with the wood. Next would be the layer of leaves. I live in the middle of the woods, so I had plenty of leaves around my yard. I just used those to add to the next layer in each garden bed. Now, the leaves kind of fill in the gaps and the spaces in between the wood and give it a bit of space between the next layer that would be going on top of it. So I really liked using the leaves on top of the wood for that very reason, and also they were light, so it was the easier step.
Want to end more? Thank you. I'll be back for some tomatoes.
I got you. We have now entered into the final step of this raised garden bed build, and that is the top layer, the top soil. What am I going to be using for the top soil? What are the vegetables going to be going in? You can't plant into wood. You can't plant into leaves, right? And this is where the biggest expense took place. I feel as though this option can be different for a lot of people, and I'm just going to share what it is that I chose to do. I had a few pounds of topsoil delivered to my home, and I went and picked up some manure from a local person that I found that was giving it away for free. You just had to go pick it up, and I must say this is another laborious part. It all was laborious. The only part that really wasn't laborious was the leaves and screwing the beds together. So I picked up a good amount of manure. I picked up a lot of manure. And when it came to the combination of manure, the ratio with the manure and the soil, I did about a 2-to-1 ratio of topsoil and manure, and also mixed some sand up in there for aeration. Before I added them to each bed, I made sure to mix them and blend them really well, and I would check the texture of each batch that I would make to make sure that it wasn't too hard and it wasn't too soft, so that the plants would be able to grow some nice roots inside, but they also would be able to have a good amount of structure inside of the soil. When filling up each of the raised garden beds, I made sure that the depth of the topsoil would be enough for each plant to have room for its roots to grow down. Over time, the bottom layer will decompose, and come next year, all of it will be able to be blended together, and I will add compost into it to add the nutrients back. Now all of the garden beds are finished, and they are ready for all of the baby plants to be transported out into them. I am so excited. It is very exciting to have all of my little babies growing outside now. And it feels good. It feels good to accomplish this project and to finish off and check this off of the list. Now it is time to just watch everything grow so beautifully and tend to it and make sure that every plant is happy so that I can get a good amount of harvest. To finish this off, I want to say, when it comes to building your own things and doing things yourself, and also doing things at a very low cost, it is going to come with a lot of labor and labors of love, honestly, when it comes to these moments of the hard times where it might seem as though the task is too hard. Take a little break and then get back to it, because once it's done, it's done. And be thankful that you have the ability to be able to do anything like this. If you guys have any other questions about building raised garden beds. Leave them down below if you have any questions for me or any opinions that you have, any advice that you would have for me. I would love to hear it. Leave it down in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to read them and get back to you, and we can have a little two-way conversation. At the end of it all, it is amazing to just sit back and look at everything it is that I have created, to know that soon I will be able to eat the harvest of all of this love that I put into my garden. If you'd be interested in seeing my plants and how I started those and the process of getting those ready for the garden and how I tend to those and what it is that I plant in my garden, let me know that also down below. I would love to share more about my garden with you all. I definitely have some more work to do up in here when it comes to replacing a few things and just there's just some work that needs to be done. So I will definitely be sharing that with you all eventually as well. I just want to add, I am very new to this. This is my second growing season, so I am still learning. And through it all, I am sharing with you all what it is that I am choosing to do and the steps that I am taking, the advice that I am sharing. Just understand when I do give these advice and tips and things like that, I am new to this. This is something that I am doing and I am deciding to share it. Let's get our gardens going. Let's get stuff growing. Let's get them going. Let's get some good food in our stomachs, some pure food without any pesticides or without any of that unnecessary stuff up in it. And if you do decide to join this journey with me, subscribe. There are many other things that I do along with my garden. I love building things and fixing things and remodeling things and taking pictures and videos. It's a lot that I like to do. So this is just a portion of what it is that I am passionate about in life. And I love the fact that I'm able to share it with you all. So yeah, if you made it this far, don't forget to like this video and please subscribe so that you would not miss out on any of the other content that I have coming for you all. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. Hopefully it helped you in some ways. It was fun. It was fun talking to you. I'm hot. I got my hat on because I'm trying to make sure I protect my skin. I just turned 30 a couple weeks ago, so we got to make sure we protect the skin. We have to make sure we protect the skin. So I'm sorry if there's a shadow on my face, but you can see it. You're fine. You made it. You made it this far. You're fine. It's my favorite hat. So yeah, have a good one. Peace out. Peace out, Todd.